things that affects people a lot is motivation, and how getting yourself up mentally to do what you need to do. First of all, we need to praise ourselves every time we achieve something and make sure we understand how awesome we are for doing it. So it's constantly bombarding yourself with positive thoughts, and the motivation will come from realizing how good you are. But you can mix it up if you're suffering a lack of motivation. Try something new, mix up your training, cut back on the distances you do when you train. Sometimes the thought of going out for a certain 6-7 miles is daunting, so cut it back to 2 or 3, or maybe even just 1. Just get out, that's the important thing. Think about how you feel after a training run, which is really good about yourself, and think about how bad you feel when you haven't been out on one and you know you should have done. Remind yourself all the time about these feelings. And again, it's about repetition in your head, repeating in your head how good you feel when you go out on a training run. The obvious ones: pair up with somebody. If somebody else is relying on you to be there, you're going to be there. And then recognize your achievements. Remind yourself how far you've come, where you were when you started, and what you've achieved so far. And think back to where you were when you started. And that will motivate you and make you realize just how amazing you are for doing what you're doing. Confidence is another thing. It's different to motivation. Self-confidence is more of an inner feeling. We've all heard the expression, you're stronger than you think. You're a better runner than you think. And that's the phrase, than you think. Somebody's said this to us time and again. For some reason, we think we're not as good as we are. And that's what you have to overcome if you want to boost your self-confidence. So you start believing in yourself, you start believing in what people are telling you. A lack of confidence means you're in danger of slipping into this fixed mindset of saying you're not able to do it. It's beyond me. I can't begin to think I'll be able to do that. And you have to stop yourself doing that. We'll talk about dealing with negative thought in a minute. Replace negative thinking, lose that negativity by talking to yourself constantly. Now, when you've had a bad day, when a run doesn't go how you wanted it to, it doesn't matter how great you are, everybody's had those days. Your confidence takes a knock and you beat yourself up about it. You tell yourself how disappointed you are in yourself, how you've let yourself down. Does any of this ring a bell? But imagine hearing that from someone else. If someone stood there when you'd had a bad day, a bad run, and somebody came up to you and told you that was crap. Why did you bother? What are you doing here? All these things that we tell ourselves when we don't do quite what we wanted to. If somebody else told us that, we'd be horrified. When your favourite running buddy has a bad day, on a bad run, what do you say to them? You encourage them. You tell them, it's not your day, next time you'll be fine. All positive messages. So what you have to do is stop telling yourself that you're crap and tell yourself what your buddy's telling you, because they know best. What do we see as obstacles standing in the way of being confident? What's standing in your way that stops you being confident in your own ability? This self-talk will help you banish all that. And the best way of doing it is to adopt what's called a stop signal, which is you choose, everybody will choose something different, choose something that means in your head stop. Like it can be a red traffic light or a referee's whistle, sound of a referee's whistle, somebody telling you to stop that particularly strikes a chord with you, a buzzer going off, the Britain's Got Talent buzzer going off that tells people to stop. Hear that in your head, get it in your head, and every time you have a negative thought or negative criticism creeps in, sound that buzzer, hear that buzzer in your head, hear that whistle or whatever it is that you've adopted as your stop signal, and remember the stop signal. And then replace the negative thought you were about to have with a positive version of it. People can say, I was rubbish today, and you sound your stop signal, and then you say, hang on, I did what I had to do today, I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to be better. And that way we rid ourselves of the negative thoughts we have at the very beginning, so the positivity we can concentrate on 100% the next time we go out. Often we're worried about what others think of us when we're running or competing. We feel like we're being judged by other people. But the fact is that nobody is able to judge you other than yourself. So all you're doing this for yourself. You should never bother about what other people think of you. It's natural when you start out, but it soon becomes apparent that A, they're not really that bothered about what you're doing, and B, there's nothing to be achieved by worrying about what other people think of you. All that matters is that you satisfy yourself that you've done what you set out to do. So stop trying to mind read other people, because it only matters what you think of yourself. The obstacles, fear of not seeking approval of others, worrying about less of them. Has any of us felt these things? So just send the stop signal out and replace it all with positive messages, and you'll benefit and your performance will improve.